Hey guys and welcome. This is going to be the first edition of the HD pregame show. That is right, I've come up with a new crazy idea. I wanted you guys to let me know what you guys think about this. But this pregame show is pretty much going to talk about the players that are going to be playing in the game, the strategies that they might use, the trash talking, the drama between them, the history of the two players. I think it's going to be a good way to hype up the games in general, and it adds a little bit of flavor to the videos beforehand, as well as my own personality. Now, this background is going to change. It's not always going to be a white background or my wall in my room or anything like that. I'm going to definitely get a little more professional with this pregame thing that I want to do. And the main reason is because, of course, the HDH Invitational is coming out. I think the pregame show is going to be a good way for me to talk about the players, how they're advancing in the bracket, where they're placing, the trash talking involved, just hype up the game in general. So I think this is going to be a good thing to do. Now, this pregame show in particular is going to be for QXC and Sheth. That is right, two American players, both of them extremely well known in the community. QXC, known as a very powerful Terran player, known for his creative strategy, his adaptive build. His opponent is going to be Sheth, though. Sheth is a very strong Zerg player, known for his macro. He's really good at macroing, and both these players are going to be pitting against each other in Kulas Ravine, a very, very big four-player map. So I cannot wait to cast this game. Both of these players are going to collide, both at full speed, and I'm going to be there to commentate this game. My name is HD, of course. If you guys have never seen my channel before, make sure to check it out. It is youtube.com/HD Starcraft. More Starcraft 2 footage there, so make sure to subscribe. And I cannot wait to get this game underway, so without further ado, let's go ahead and do it. QXC versus Sheth, ending the pregame show. Thanks a lot, guys.
Hey guys, what's up? This is HD, and this is going to be a Zerg versus Terran on Kulas Ravine. That is right. We have the players, Sheth, spawning as the blue Zerg up at the top left-hand corner. Bottom left-hand corner is going to be the opponent, the Terrans, the human Terrans. And the QXC is going to be controlling the helm right there. Both these players are very, very good, QXC and Sheth. I haven't really casted any games between them before, but I do know that their names are pretty renowned. The map is Kulas Ravine, as stated before. The spawn points are 4 positional. They're all in the corners, up in the top right, top left, bottom right. And there's a lot of resource nodes all around the map that I'm showing you guys right now. Definitely lots of strategies that can evolve from that. Usually what we see from players is more of a macro-esque build for 2 reasons. A, because you can't really rush an opponent on a 4-player map. It's a lot more difficult because you have to scout their position first. And B, because there's so many resource nodes, especially this node up here where you can destroy the rocks, grab access to this high ground expansion where there's the watchtower as well as the rocks. Very easily defendable if you grab that. So essentially there are 2 easily obtainable expansions as a player on this map. So usually we will see a macro-esque build. A lot of times there is some early harass, however. Reapers make great use of these cliffs right here. You can just kind of hop the Reaper behind, go straight behind the mineral line. Definitely an effective use of those early harass units that the Terrans have access to. So we might see that. Looks like Sheth here going for a 14 pull though. Most likely 14 pull into 15 hatch. We'll keep an eye on that drone count. Pretty economical build, pretty standard for him. QXC here going for a pretty fast gas, I feel like. Getting the refinery even before the first racks is done. So QXC here might just be going for a Reaper build. We'll see. Usually the reason why you want to get that refinery before the racks gets finished is so you can get that 50 gas as soon as possible, at least after the first Marine, and then get that tech lab out and start pumping out Reapers. So we'll keep an eye on that. Sheth here getting up to 16 drones, doesn't have an expansion going down yet. So 14 pull into don't know what, could possibly be a Roach build, 1 base Roach build for Sheth, which I don't really agree with if he decides to go with that route, because this is such a big map, and as a Zerg player against a Terran, the optimal choice is usually to grab that fast expansion, because you can't really rush in and do some early damage, simply because the Terran player can wall off so easily. Looks like QXC here going for a fast factory though, so we're not going to see Reapers. QXC might be going for mech this game. That'll be interesting. Haven't seen a mech build work for a Terran player in God knows how long. And yeah, it could be a mech build. He's going for a reactor on the racks, which typically means the racks will just pump out dual Marines, and then you'll have a couple factories pumping out siege tanks and Hellions. So Sheth here finally grabbing his expansion. Looks like he's just kind of delayed the hatchery a little bit, Also running off 1 gas right now, and he's going to get a Roach Warren, so he's going to play 2 base Roaches. And he's got a pretty good economy to do it. I think it's a pretty strong build, but if he goes up against Siege Tanks... No, this doesn't look like we're going to get Siege Tanks after all. QXE here going to trade with the Rax and put a Reactor Core on the factory, which means he's going to go for a fast Hellion Harass here. Throwing me off a little bit there. Rax also getting a Tech Lab, so we might see a fast Hellion Harass, and then after the Hellion Harass, QXE is going to switch back to a more standard M&M build with this Barracks already getting the Tech Lab down. So we'll see how effective this Hellion Harass is going to be. QXE wants this to do as much damage as he can to the mineral line. And there aren't any drones here, but there's a lot of drones right for the burning down here up at the main. Sheth also destroying these rocks right here, which does mean he's going to be able to defend in case there's some kind of a drop up here where the high cliff is over this natural. Now the Hellions making their way through, going to burn down 2 larvae, which is 20 seconds of resources wasted. Takes 10 seconds for a larva to respawn. Hellions going to try to make their way in, do a little bit of micro against the Zerglings, but the Roaches are going to come out for Sheth, and luckily for Sheth, Roaches are pretty good against Hellions. They don't take very much damage. And so they do deal with Hellions very easily. So QXE here kind of realizing that his Hellion rush has kind of failed, switching back now to a more Rax heavy build, getting 2 Raxes, 1 Reactor, 1 Tech Lab. Also getting a very fast Armory as well, so oh no, could we be seeing Thors coming out from the factory? That's really the only unit that the Armory unlocks, so I think it might be a Thor build coming out from QXE here. We'll keep an eye on that as QXE here playing very well, using these Hellions to control the map. Usually in a Zerg versus Terran, you actually see the Zerg player controlling the map with his Zerglings and Roaches, but QXE here doing the complete opposite, using these Hellions on the watchtowers, controlling the map, keeping the Zerg player contained because he doesn't want to get his Zerglings burned up. So, great play so far from Sheth, and we do have a Thor coming out. There is a Thor coming out of the factory. Wow, this is insane! I have never seen a quick Thor build before from a Terran player, and I mean, for all sake and purpose, I don't think I've ever seen a Thor build ever from a Terran player in a real high-level game, so if this works for QXE, 2 thumbs up. This is going to be awesome to see him implement it into his build. He's also getting a starport as well, so the only thing I can think of is possibly a dropship. Yes, there's a dropship building right now straight out of the starport. You can see how QXE has really prepared this build. First going for the fast Hellions to keep the Zerg player at bay, control the map, and then he's going to try to harass with the dropship and the Thor. Wow, this is going to be insane. And Sheth here moving in with his Roaches, but I don't think he's going to be able to break this front door. Just too many buildings in the way. Marauders are very good against Roaches, and I mean, he's going to try to do some damage right here. Keep in mind, Hellions still moving across the map. And yeah, these Marauders with their grenades, even though they don't have the concussive shells right away, they just do so much damage to the Roaches, pushing them back right there. And the dropship, the medevac, loads up the Thor. It is ready to go. Look at how cute that Thor looks as it is loaded up. And it is going to move straight for the main of the Zerg player. And Sheth here doesn't really have anything to defend against it. Just now getting a layer up. Has really no air units to take down the dropship. Perhaps only the Queen right now. And the Thor just does so much damage. I think it 2 shots a Roach, but don't quote me on that number. The only thing Sheth has going for him right now is he does have 2 bases, but QXE right now with this lone Thor could very well equalize that. 2 shots off on that Queen, take it down to half-life, less than half-life. That Thor is insane, down to 1 life right now. 1 more shot would take out that Queen. Dropship moving in here for another attack, dropping the Thor off, blows up the Queen, and then loads up, and it is time to hightail it out of there. Queens do a lot of damage to air units, and that dropship has taken quite a few hits already. Great build by QXE here, keeping the pressure on with that Thor. Hellion still across the map, and now moving out with an expansion as well. And this is what you want to do as a player. Apply pressure and then grab the expansion, because you know that you won't get attacked while you're expanding if you're applying pressure on your opponent, and he's continuing to do that with this Thor moving into the spine crawler. I don't know why the extractor there just kind of blew up. Oh, the dropship almost going down, unloads the Thor, both the Thor and the dropship blowing up right there to the Queen and the spine crawler. Not quite sure if that was exactly cost effective, because he did lose a dropship and a Thor, but it definitely